Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Welcome back, friends. Welcome to another video lecture by Kame Biology. In a series of video lecture, we are going to talk about hypersensitivity in a detail. Okay, so this is the first video lecture which is regarded to hypersensitivity, and in this first video lecture, we are going to talk about introduction to hypersensitivity or explanation to hypersensitivity. So let me write hypersensitivity. So what is, first of all, let's explain the terms that what is hypersensitivity. As the name suggests, hyper means what? This hyper means something get increased, and sensitivity means sensations of the some things. The sensation nature of something inside our body that get hyper, we call that hypersensitivity, especially the immune cells. If we talk about hypersensitivity, so usually it can related to the immune cells, means lymphocytes, basophils, sometimes macrophages, neutrophils. All these cells, when get hypered or get sensitized, we usually call that hypersensitivity. Okay, so before explaining the hypersensitivity, let me tell you some important terms that are usually related to the hypersensitivity. Once we get idea about these terms, then the hypersensitivity, for the understanding of the hypersensitivity, will be easy for us. So the first term is what? So the first term is cell mediated immunity, or humoral mediated immunity. Try to best remove the spelling mistake by yourself. Now, before going to explain the cell mediated and humoral mediated immunity, first of all, that what is actually immunity? Okay, first of all, let me explain immunology. Because immunity is usually related to what? Immunology. Immunology is the branch of microbiology, or we can say the branch of medical science, in which we can study the immunity, or which we can study the immunity or the cells that are usually involved in the immunity. We call that immunology. Now, what is immunity? Immunity is some things that is usually present inside our body that are get activated by the antigen, self or non-self. Okay, how will be explained later. So this is about the immunity. Now, what is cell, or what is humoral immunity? Cell, sorry, not or, we can say and, because both are different. Now, what is cell and humoral? So first of all, let's explain the cell mediated immunity. Inshallah, I will explain much more detail about the cell and humoral mediated immunity in some other video lecture, but here we will just a little bit define each of the terms. What is cell mediated immunity? Cell mediated immunity are those immunity in which the cells are involved to kill the pathogen or to kill the bacteria. Let's suppose we have at that area, let's suppose we have this green one represents, let's suppose what? It representing the cells having nucleus. Okay, on the other hand, we have what? We have the bacterial cells. Now these are what? These are the bacterial cell. So whenever these cells is a part of the immunity, it is get activated against this bacteria and they can kill the bacteria. We call that through these cells, means the immunity are get activated and they can kill the bacteria through these cells. They may be macrophages, neutrophils, or lymphocytes. Then we call that what? We call this cell mediated immunity. There are a lot of reactions are activated inside our body. Sometimes cell mediated immunity system are activated, sometimes humoral, sometimes complement system, sometimes autoimmune system are activated, sometimes immunocompromised system are activated. So explain each of terms we are explaining right now. So this is the cell mediated immunity. Now on the other hand, what is humoral mediated immunity? In this case, what actually happen? Sometimes the cells are not activated. what actually happened? The cells are not activated. On the other hand, what is humoral mediated immunity? Humoral mediated immunity is that immunity in which the bacterial, means this is the bacteria, let's suppose, in which the bacteria are killed by a special types of the proteins. Let's suppose we have 20 types of the proteins. Okay, so we have 20 or above the 20 proteins that are activated and kill the bacteria. Means they can kill the bacteria in such a way that they make a hole inside a bacteria. Okay, we also call this process, what we also call that? Complement system. Inshallah, I will also make a separate video lecture on complement system in much detail. Okay, so this is called humoral mediated immunity. All these immunity systems, or we can say this hypersensitivity reaction, it is sometimes delay or sometimes it is immediate. Okay, how will we explain later. On the other hand, what actually we have, there is very important thing that you guys should have to remember. That's about the self and non-self. So let me explain. Self and non-self. Now, what is self and non-self antigen? Antigen. Okay. Inside our body, what actually happens? There are proteins, molecules, carbohydrates, lipids, all these substances that are useful for us, that can benefit for us. We call that what? We call that self antigen. We call that what? We call that self antigen. On the other hand, we have non-self antigen. All those antigen that can harm to our body. It may be a bacterial cell, it may be a virus, it may be a kind of toxic material. All those material which can harm to our body, we call that what? Non-self antigen. Okay. On the other hand, we have self antigen. Self antigen may be a bacteria as well. For example, E. coli, which is present inside our bacteria, this is also a self antigen. Okay, but what actually they are doing, they can give benefit to you. Then on that time we call that self antigen. On the other hand, when the bacteria is present but they can harm you, we call that non-self antigen. That's very important. What actually happen? Our immunocells or our immunity is designed just like that. Means our immunocells or our immune systems are designed just like that, that they can distinguish between self and non-self antigen. But on the other hand, sometime in immunocompromised people, sometime what actually happen, this system is failed. Means the immunocells are failed to distinguish between the self and non-self antigen. Normally, or normally what actually happen, or in healthy person, what actually happen, the immunocells are activated and they can kill the non-self antigen, which is useful process, which is usually occur in a healthy person. But in a diseased person or in abnormal person or in a pathology case, what actually happen, these immunocells are activated and they can kill the self antigen. They cannot recognize the non-self antigen. They have no ability, or they can lose their ability. So that condition, we call that what? We call that immunocompromised system. Immunocompromised system. So immunocompromised system, let me tell you once again, immunocompromised system are those systems in which the non-self antigen are not recognized by our immunocells, or it is failed to recognize this non-self, and non-self, and such non-self antigen, it may be a bacteria or virus, are get increased, or they can increase their population, or they can cause infection inside our body, due to which a disease occur. We usually call that immunocompromised system. So sometimes immunocompromised system is also activated inside our body. Okay. On the other hand, what we have autoimmune system as well. So let me write autoimmune system. Autoimmune system. Now, in this case, what actually happened? In autoimmune system, you know, as the cell lose their ability to recognize the non-self antigen, then what actually they do, although they are activated and they're ready to attack the non-self, but they are not recognizing this non-self antigen, then what actually happen on that time, they will directly attack to this self antigen and they will kill to this self antigen. Okay, these cells will activate it and they can kill the the self antigen. We call that autoimmune disease, or we call that autoimmune system. So all these systems are, activated in our body, not at the same time. Sometimes, cell mediated system are activated, sometimes humoral mediated are activated, sometimes immunocompromised system are activated, autoimmune system are activated. But these two, will be activated in case of pathological condition, and these two will be activated in the healthy condition. So that's about a little bit terms that you should have to memorize it whenever we are studying this hypersensitivity reaction. Okay, because so if you not get these things, then it is very difficult for us to understand this hypersensitivity. Okay, inshallah, I will explain each of the terms: cell-mediated, humoral, immunocompromised, and autoimmune disease in much more detail in some other video lecture. Okay, so then what is hypersensitivity? What is hypersensitivity? Hypersensitivity is that reaction. We also call that, allergic reaction as well. We also call that what? Allergic reaction. So let me explain. What actually happens inside our body? Let's suppose this is a human body. I'm really sorry for my bad handwriting, and I'm really sorry for my bad or very beautiful diagrams. So let's suppose this is what this is. Let's suppose a human body. Let's say this is a human body, and inside the human body, what actually happened? Let's suppose it is exposed to dust particles. We can say here we have what we have, a dust particles. Means we can say pollens, or pathogen, or any other things we can say. So let's suppose it is what? It is a dust particles. Now once the human body can get this dust particle through inhalation, ingestion, or injection. Let's suppose this dust particle are get internalized. I'm not talking that it is pathogen, I'm not talking that it is bacteria, virus, toxin. It may be anything. Okay, now once it get internalized inside the human body, let me draw the hand of this person. Sorry guys. Okay, so what actually happened in this case, let's suppose this means this dust particle are get internalized. Let's suppose this is the dust particle which is get internalized. It may be any kinds of things. Okay, what actually happen inside our body? The immunity systems are activated and they can kill each of the particles. It may be self, it may be non-self, it may be benefit, it may be non-benefit, it may be useful, it may be harmful for us. So whenever the immunity systems are activated to kill any kind of the particles which is useful or which is harmful, we usually call that hypersensitivity. When our immunity cells are get hyper, or get increased, or get sensations against each of the particles, we usually call that hypersensitivity, or we call that allergic reaction, which are usually occur inside our body. You guys usually heard this terms from a person that sometimes a person said that I have allergy from bread, I have allergy from medicine, I have allergy from chemicals, I have allergy from from food or from substance or any things. The person says that I have allergy from such a thing. So what does it mean? It means when a person, although each of the things are useful for us, what actually happen when such person take each of the things, then their immunity cells are get activated, or get hyper, or get increased, and they can kill each of the things. Okay, let's suppose a person have allergy from medicine, and such person it is ill. and we want to provide a medicine to that person for their cure. So what actually happen if we provide the medicine, and if such patient take the medicine, then although medicine is useful for ill person, okay, medicine is useful for ill person, but if they have hypersensitivity reaction inside our body, then this medicine will be failed. This medicine will not perform their function, because inside body this medicine will be recognized, and this medicine will be finished or degrade or destroyed by the immuno cells. Okay, this is called hypersensitivity. On the other hand, we have types of the hypersensitivity. I hope you understand about the hypersensitivity. Now on the other hand, we have what? We have the types of hypersensitivity. Types of hypersensitivity. In short form we can write HS. So the classification or the type of the hypersensitivity was described by two scientists named Peter Gell and Robert Kame. Peter Gell and Robert Kame. Okay, these two scientists classify the hypersensitivity in a different types. Okay, in 1963. So there are 4 types of the hypersensitivity, but in some books they says there are 5 types of the hypersensitivity. But don't worry, inshallah I will discuss 5 types of the hypersensitivity. Okay, so there are type 1. Let me write here. There are type 1 hypersensitivity. We have type 2 hypersensitivity. We have type 3 hypersensitivity. We have type 4 hypersensitivity, and we have also type 5 hypersensitivity. Okay, inshallah in the next video lecture we are going to talk about this type 1 hypersensitivity in detail. But before that, you guys remember these terms that I explained to you. Okay, I hope you understand about this video lecture. If you have questions, so write it into a comment. Inshallah I will give you answer. Okay, if you like this video, so make sure to hit the like button, share this video, and also subscribe the channel to get more interesting video lecture like that. And stay tuned, because in the next video lecture we are going to talk about type 1 hypersensitivity in detail. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.